All filled with gratitude to begin 2024, to be here in the grandest stage in sports, bathed in warm sunshine today. Really is a fantasy destination for football fans everywhere, but it's about to get very real for the Alabama and the Michigan players. This is a proving ground, a spot in the Houston championship game at stake here. Welcome to the College Football Playoff Semifinal at the Rose Bowl game, presented by Prudential, America's New Year's celebration. And this is the Ram Trucks kickoff. Semifinal Monday begins here, shifts to New Orleans, where the Huskies and the Longhorns will battle, and of course the winners will collide down in the state of Texas a week from today on January 8th. Welcome. Happy New Year. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, calling your 16th Rose Bowl game. That's a record, a brand new Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah,
We've seen a lot of these, partner.
Thanks.
This one does feel different and special. It's the first playoff game at the Rose Bowl since that classic win by Georgia over Oklahoma here 6 years ago.
Well, you know, this game would be great no matter where it would be played, but I think this setting and the history and the soul of this stadium just comes alive on a day like this, and we're very fortunate to have these teams, these uniforms together, and the San Gabriel Mountains looking over it. This hopefully will play out the way we can envision.
Star power, plot line, just the second collision between Saban and Harbaugh as head coaches. There was no pregame handshake, by the way. Michigan, back-to-back Big Ten titles. They've stumbled at the semifinal each of the last 2 years, but this season for Harbaugh and Michigan, totally unique. A 3-game suspension from the school early for minor recruiting violations. From the Big Ten, the last 3 games of the regular season for the sign-stealing scandal. But this Michigan coaching staff and team seem to be galvanized. They thrived amidst all that stuff, and now it's Michigan against everybody, and it feels real for them.
It does feel real, and I think it has a lot to do with their past. The last couple years, they've come up a little bit short from their goals. They had that magical year with Aiden Hutchinson, got to the game against Georgia, got embarrassed. Last year, a game that they felt they probably could beat TCU. Game got away from them. They weren't able to finish, and now they came into this game. All those distractions, in my opinion, not only brought this team together, there's been a singular focus. So no matter what happened with the outside noise or even their head coach not being there, these leaders, Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy and company, would not let this team get off course. It's gotten them all the way to this opportunity, 60 minutes away from getting to a national title game.
McCarthy, the quarterback who has not played well in the first 2 playoff appearances, extra determined. The only loss of his career as a starter was that loss to TCU. He's been dynamic, he's been pretty mistake-free, and he's gotten healthy because he wasn't down the stretch for Michigan.
No, he wasn't. He got dinged in the Penn State game. They didn't throw a pass in the second half, and he was able to get to the finish line, and they knocked off Iowa. And now I think the 30 days really helped him more than anybody. His arm obviously is going to have to be a factor, but if you're not familiar with his game, Des just talked about it. His athletic ability, that it factor, that 3rd and 6, that 3rd and 8, when they need a play, if they win this game, J.J. McCarthy will will his team and have to make plays with his feet to keep some drives alive and eventually make some big plays.
Alabama, of course, dethroned 2-time defending champion Georgia. Still need to answer questions whether they belong in the bracket. Nick Saban's team took a 10-point home field loss against Texas early. After that, Kirk, they were really in must-win mode, and they had to fight from behind. Poor starts against Ole Miss and Tennessee, the miracle game against Auburn, and then they played their best game against Georgia.
Yeah, and I think it's a football team. If you look at the setback that they had against Texas and then the next week against USF, they were really reeling, trying to find an identity as an offense. And give Tommy Rees, first-year offensive coordinator, a lot of credit. They adjusted some things, got physical with the offensive line, able to run the football, and Jalen Milroe became a different guy. Ability to make throws downfield and to complement their running game. His vertical passing game is good as anybody in the country. Do not sleep, of course, on what he can do with his legs. Michigan's entire prep is about building a pocket to try to prevent him from getting out of that pocket to make big plays the way he can off schedule.
Milroe symbolizes the improvement of this team. Played poorly against Texas, got benched, finally got going, but not even Nick Saban or his play caller Tommy Rees is certain that Milroe can make a lot more dynamic plays than mistakes. This is his first playoff game of his career.
Yeah, but you and I having a chance to meet with him with Holly yesterday, there was a confidence that you could feel that he's confident he can make the plays he needs to today.
He's come through in the clutch every time. We cannot wait for Michigan and Alabama to honor America. First, though, to the field, the University of Michigan marching band under the direction of Dr. Richard Fry for the playing of our national anthem. today. It's been inspiring and cinematic. This setting has for about 100 years. What will happen today? Michigan and Alabama. This has been the Ram Trucks Kickoff.